One of the most important aspects of any story is the villain, the antagonist, a cruelly malicious entity, thriving in wickedness and devoted to wreaking havoc to others around him, or to those who live a life of peace and harmony. I am going to outline and produce what I believe to be the perfect villain in the world of wrestling. Now, we have a term for this person. We call this person a heel. And one thing I take pride in is my ability and passion to tell a story, my story. For the sake of this commentary, I will be using photos and pictures of the anime character Light Yagami. He will be the template to illustrate what I believe is the perfect heel. So without further ado, here is how to write the perfect heel in wrestling. We start off with a clean, blank slate. A new local wrestler named Jacob. Jacob is kind to others, he has a positive outlook on things, and has 2 years of experience in training when it comes to wrestling. He went to wrestling schools, he did amateur wrestling in high school, he has all the tools to be a wrestler. So, he decides to enter a wrestling promotion with the drive to one day be a world champion and lead that promotion as the best wrestler inside a ring. On his first night, in his first match, he loses. Jacob leaves the ring, watching the audience shower the victor in praise and admiration, while he is ignored and defeated. Despite his loss, Jacob comes back and tries again, continuing to follow exactly what he was taught in his wrestling schools. However, he continues to lose every match he fights. He just can't figure out why he's losing. He's doing everything right. He's doing what he's taught to do, and he's following all the rules. But all it's gotten him is low paychecks, no respect, one-night hotels, and even more nights sleeping in his car. Loss with no direction. The only thing Jacob knows is if he doesn't start winning matches, he can't gain any ground and he will be nothing in the world of wrestling. He will have no money, he will win no championships, he will get no notoriety, no fame, and in the end, when it's all said and done, he will be a nobody. Something has to be done. Desperation sets in. Not being able to see the root of his issues, bitter, lost, Jacob begins blaming others for his lack of success. He blames his coaches, he blames his trainers, and he blames the school for not training him properly because the results he's getting isn't what he wants. So he decides to go outside the box. Jacob starts using underhanded tactics in his matches, using the ropes, eye gouges, low blows, referee distractions, grabbing the tights, and taking advantage of the count-out stipulation. In doing so, he starts winning. He actually starts gaining wins, getting more and more successful in each and every match. The more victories he gets, the more money he makes, and the more opportunities he starts seeing coming his way. As expected, this does not sit well with the audience, who starts to boo him. Although he's getting booed, he continues to work unfazed because, well, His concern is being seen as the best wrestler in the world, so in his mind, that only comes through results, not admiration. Eventually, he feels the crowd will come around. It was only a matter of time before Jacob got himself a championship match, and to our surprise, he ends up winning that championship. However, just as quick as he won it, his reign was just as quick. In the very next match, Jacob drops the championship. Losing his championship makes Jacob question what he did wrong. Instead of criticizing himself, he continues to blame others around him and the fans for not understanding him. Starving for glory and fame to be a legend, he gets stuck in his dirty ways. The only way he can get to the top is through cheating. Because when he did it the right way, he saw no success. So why stop now? Forgoing the fans, he decides to surround himself with people who buy into his self-propaganda, forming his own personal posse for their own reasons, whether it's for fame, whether it's for money, or whether it's just to be around him. These people began worshiping Jacob like he's a god, and even aid him in his matches. With more resources at his disposal, Jacob eventually wins back the championship he lost, and starts to proclaim himself as the greatest champion alive. This time around, he's more devious with his tactics. He has his comrades interfere in matches, he sneaks in weapons, he hides weapons, and even pays off the referee to help him win matches. It's gotten to a point that even the commentators can't be unbiased towards him. His actions are just not right. Fans boo him, not because they're supposed to and he's a bad guy, but because they genuinely want to see someone who's breaking all the rules and who lives a life doing things the wrong way fall from success. That's when the ultimate challenger comes in. This challenger, Lincoln, represented by L from Death Note, not only has the ability to out-wrestle Jacob, but also outsmart him and render his tactics useless. And at first, Jacob doesn't think much of Lincoln, so he just sends his posse after him. But to his surprise, they all get wiped out. Lincoln defeats every single opponent thrown his way. Frustrated, Jacob piles on trouble, attacking Lincoln backstage and even injuring him. Why? Because he sees him as a threat. After fighting for so long to be on top and struggling to get to where he is, reaching a level of success his way, the one thing Jacob cannot lose to is someone who reaches his level doing things the right way. So now, his goal is to sabotage everything Lincoln is about. With Lincoln out on injury, Jacob relishes and preaches to the audience that he found a way to success faster and more proficient than any wrestler has done in that promotion. He completely singles out and slanders Lincoln for his morals and his beliefs, and says as long as he lives and breathes, he will never beat him. But not too long after that, Lincoln returns, and he's angry, and the only thing he thinks about is taking down Jacob. Now being an adversary to everything Jacob stands for, Jacob does the most instinctive thing he can do in a situation like this. He runs. Our champion Jacob is now on the run from Lincoln. Everything Jacob's done being taken away by the very man that stands against everything he stands for is worse than any kind of defeat. Jacob is so desperate not to fight Lincoln, he starts politicking ways to avoid him. He kisses up to bosses he hates and befriends people he would never associate with, but hates the challenger. Anything he can do to protect him because he knows the very day he steps into the ring with his adversary, not only will he lose the championship, but he will no longer be the best wrestler in the world. That is a fate worse than death. Unfortunately for him, that day came when the challenger himself wins a title opportunity, and Jacob's heart sinks. He now knows he can no longer run. The only thing standing between him and his challenger is time itself. So, what does Jacob do? He stands by what got him to the dance. Jacob starts scheming up every single underhanded tactic humanly possible and studies his challenger's every move through tapes. He finds weaknesses in his skill set and even kinks in his personality. He uses all his resources to target every single crack in Lincoln's armor. He attacks his friends. He attacks his lover. He even exposes to the world a dark secret and hoping that Lincoln will quit. This has gone far beyond a wrestling match now. Jacob's job now is to make Lincoln's life absolutely miserable, to the point that he wants to quit and leave before the match could happen. Sadly for our champion, Lincoln doesn't leave. All Jacob succeeds in doing is fueling Lincoln's fire. The match happens. The crowd is excited. Everyone knows the result they want. In spite of all his tactics, in spite of everything Jacob could do, his worst nightmare becomes a reality. Jacob loses. And he loses badly. And in losing, he doesn't just lose the championship, but he lost the respect of his peers, he loses his posse, and he loses an opportunity to get the championship back. This sends Jacob spiraling down a very dark path. He turns to vices to help him cope. He can't sleep. He can't eat. He can't function. His life has been turned upside down, and in his mind, he's been reduced to being the one thing he hates. A nobody. A nobody that no one cares about. Jacob officially hit rock bottom. But in hitting rock bottom, Jacob had an epiphany. He would rather be hated. He would rather be feared than ignored. And if he's going to be hated and feared, he needs to give people a reason to do so. And thus, we reach the final stage. All likable traits of Jacob have been removed, and every action he does is to draw the ire and hatred of his peers. He doesn't wrestle matches for competition now. He wrestles to absolutely massacre his opponents. He beats them to a bloody pulp and does it consistently. The more he breaks bones, the more blood he has on his fists, the more he loves it. He begins to invest in a multitude of ways to harm the human body, learning and dissecting moves that can cause the most damage. He will no longer be confined by the system of wrestling, a system that has brought him misery and pain. Jacob will create his own system, his own rules, his own guidelines. Jacob goes on a tear, destroying every wrestler in his path. It gets to a point that he gets bored of attacking wrestlers. Why stop at wrestlers? If he's going to be the best in the world, then anyone and everyone has to be perceived as a threat. He attacks the camera crew, he attacks the announcers, he attacks the female wrestlers, and he even attacks the fans. He starts noticing that his actions have caused fans to not only heckle him verbally, but physically, throwing trash inside the ring as he stands inside the ring, being showered in cups and beer. It is at that moment that Jacob told himself, I made it. It doesn't matter if he wins another championship. Wins and losses are irrelevant. They are a thing of the past. What he has done is carved his name in the history books as the most vile, vicious human being on the face of this planet. And he's not done yet. He states that his new goal in life is to pillage and tear asunder every single perceived threat in his way until one or two things happen. One, everyone bows down and accepts him as king. Or two, he will continue to pillage and tear asunder until there is no one left. And by default, he will be king. Because in his mind, he was always a king. And he's been letting a broken world and a broken system hold him back. No more. This is my world. And there you have it. That is how I would write the perfect heel in professional wrestling. Give me your thoughts down below. What things would you change? I gave you practically 5 different types of heels in one big video. What is your favorite heel? Who is your favorite heel? Discuss down below all of this in the comment section. I look forward to seeing who you guys perceive to be the best heel, or you tell your own stories of becoming a heel. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is my story. And this video to me is precious because it's something that I created. Nobody else creates this but me. With that said, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, subscribe here on YouTube, and donate to my Patreon. This is your boy, Alyx Man, signing off. Peace out.